From punching a teenager and calling it an act of self-defense, to violently threatening a security guard over the smallest inconvenience. Here are Ja Morant's most controversial moments of his career. I mean, do you remember the time he flat out punched a kid? So Ja basically hosted a casual basketball game at his house in Tennessee. But things quickly escalated when a high school player attended the game, and they got into a heated argument. According to police documents, the teen accidentally threw a hard pass at Ja's face. The Memphis Grizzlies star then allegedly approached the teenager and asked another person at the game, "Should I do it to him?" The next thing you know, Morant punched the teenager and knocked him to the ground. But the assault didn't stop there. The teenager claimed that the player continued to hit him while he was on the ground, and another person joined in and started hitting him too. The teenager tried to cover his face to avoid getting hit, but Morant reportedly struck him a whopping 12 to 13 times. Whoa. The police report even states that the teen had a large knot on the side of his head. And get this, the Memphis star didn't deny hitting the boy, but claimed that he was acting in self-defense. Self-defense against a kid? Okay? According to Morant, the teen threw the ball at him intentionally and approached him as if he wanted to fight. Now, this is where it gets crazier. The teen also told the police that Morant went inside his house and came back out with a gun in his pants. Can you imagine the chaos that must have caused? Jeez. The teen's dad even had to tell him to go back inside the house for safety. And the worst part is that this wasn't the only time he had beef with kids. Another time he had a full-on violent feud with a young girl. Apparently, during a volleyball game at Houston High, there was a verbal altercation between Ja's sister and a teenager. Then, according to a police report, Morant, his family, and other people showed up at the gym in a storm. An officer tried to stop them from going in, but one of Ja's buddies was able to get past the officer and go up the stairs. Some students who were there told the police that this friend then slapped his cell phone out of one student's hand and threatened to beat them up. One of the teenager's parents even went to the police and said that they wanted to press charges against Morant and his mother. And if you thought that was crazy, wait till you hear this next one. Ja also flashed his gun once on social media. So he found himself in some major hot water when he flashed a gun during an Instagram live video. Can you believe it? This happened just a few days after allegations came out that he punched a 17-year-old at a basketball game. Then the NBA and police got involved and investigated this whole mess. And to make matters even crazier, suspicions are growing that Morant carried the gun with him while traveling on the team airplane. I can't even imagine the kind of trouble he could be in for that. But at least the Memphis Grizzlies star is owning up to his actions. That's literally the bare minimum he can do. He did take responsibility for flashing the gun during the video on social media. But this wasn't the only time his gun got him in trouble. No, sir. This one time, someone leaked his photos from when he was getting a lap dance in a strip club. And of course, there was a gun in his hand. The owner of the club supposedly leaked some photos of Morant getting a lap dance in a VIP lounge. And let me tell you, they are wild. In the picture, the whole room is covered in money, and Morant is surrounded by scantily clad women. According to sources, the NBA star spent a whopping $50,000 on tips alone. Now, some people have criticized the Memphis player for his behavior, but it seems that fellow celebrity Des Bryant was actually showing support for him. He even advised other players and celebrities to boycott that particular club, because he thinks they leaked the pictures to get money out of the player. Still, Ja wasn't gonna get away without facing the consequences. The NBA officially suspended him for 8 games for what they're calling conduct detrimental to the league. Ouch! And this isn't just a slap on the wrist, folks. This suspension is gonna cost Morant nearly $700,000 of his $12.1 million salary. Now that's a big hit, no doubt about it. And come to think of it, this isn't the only time his controversial pictures were discovered by the masses. So some eagle-eyed NBA fans dug a little online, and the stuff they found from Ja's childhood will leave you stunned. Remember when we all had cringy social media profiles that we'd rather forget? Well, it turns out that the NBA star is no exception. In fact, his old Instagram selfies were leaked to a whopping 5 million people online. Can you even imagine the embarrassment? But wait, it gets even juicier. Apparently, some of us were smart enough to delete those cringy photos, but not Morant. Nope, he had an account with the handle @SoExclusive12. He started when he was just 13 years old. And get this, his bio promised to follow back, but with almost 90,000 followers now, that seems like a far-fetched dream. Now let's take a peek at the content of this old Instagram account. Picture this, pouty selfies with some motivational quotes sprinkled in. What's worse though? Some of the captions on these pictures are super controversial. I'm talking about phrases like "I make cocaine" and "hate being sober." Shocking, right? Some people are using these pictures to prove a point. They claim that Morant is glamorizing the reckless lifestyle and hasn't grown out of it. Even after making it to the NBA, others see this as a young kid making some unwise decisions on social media. Either way, it's a wild ride down memory lane that nobody saw coming. But do you know what irks NBA fans so much? It's that he hasn't gotten better at all. And it isn't just outsiders who he bothers. Nope. He's also known to be a menace to other players. In fact, man's been bothering players from other teams too. It all began while he was on the court playing against the Pacers on January 29th. Apparently, Ja's father, Ted, and his bestie Devontae Pack got into some verbal fights with the Pacers players. Things got so bad that the officials had to escort Morant's bestie off the game to keep the peace. But that was just the beginning. Once the game ended, Bob Kravitz and Sam Amick of The Athletic reported that some of Morant's friends got into a bit of a chaotic situation with members of the Indiana Pacers traveling party, and things got a little dangerous and out of control. The incident happened near the team's bus at FedEx Forum in Memphis, where a slow-moving SUV with Morant inside aimed a red laser at the Pacers crew. One of the people who had the laser pointed at them spoke to the media and said that they felt like they were in grave danger, believing that the laser was attached to a gun. Later, the NBA conducted an official investigation, but a spokesperson from the league said that he didn't have any confirmation on whether there was a gun or not. Jeez, then there was the time he went after a security guard. Remember that crazy incident at the shoe store involving Ja Morant and his mother? Well, brace yourself. So Giveon Busby was just doing his job at a shoe store in a Memphis mall when Ja Morant's mother, Jamie, came storming in. Apparently, she wasn't happy with his service and threatened to call her son. Well, it didn't take long for Morant to show up with a group of his buddies, and things got pretty intense. According to Busby, they cornered him in the back room and threatened him for almost an hour. Morant was even yelling through the door, making all sorts of scary threats and promising to wait for Busby to come out. It's no wonder Busby felt so shaken up by the whole thing that he ended up filing a report with the Memphis police. I mean, can you even imagine being traumatized like that while you're just trying to do your job? It's a crazy world out there, folks. Apparently, after they left the store, the mall security director claims that the Memphis Grizzlies star and his crew refused to leave the parking lot, and things quickly turned violent. The security guard even went as far as to allege that Morant threatened him, while one of his friends allegedly assaulted him by shoving him by his head. The guard then reported the incident to the police. He said that Morant threatened him by saying, "Let me find out what time he gets off." Yeah, that's really not how an NBA player should be conducting himself in public. So, from violently threatening a security guard over the smallest inconvenience, to punching a teenager and calling it an act of self-defense, those were Ja Morant's most controversial moments of his career. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.